welcome to Fastback Racing. My name is Jason. Man, I haven't made a video in a while. I think it's been over a year since I uploaded a video. So today I decided to make an update video um, and do something different. So I really like how David Patterson from That Dude in Blue does narration. So I'm doing something different. I'm narrating, and then I'm gonna have some pictures in the video. So let's start with the beginning. So this is an update. I no longer have my 2017 Ruby Red uh, Mustang GT Premium, also known as Ruby. So let's start from the beginning. Um, I so I end up selling her on October 6th. Vroom picked her up. So let's start from the beginning. It's story time. Uh, so it all started when I sold my 2010 Candy Red Mustang GT in January of 2017 to my good friend Josh. Um, the 2010 V6 Mustang was also called Ruby, and which I now call her the original Ruby. So after I sold the original Ruby to my friend, I started to miss having a Mustang. I searched on the interwebs, as Richard Rollins from Gas Monkey would say, and I scheduled a test drive at a Ford dealership in Maryland, because at the time I was living in Aberdeen, Maryland. Um, they had two Ruby Red 2017 Mustangs. One was the GT Premium, and the other one was a EcoBoost Premium. Um, so on I scheduled this on January 15th, 2017, and on Martin Luther King Day, January 16th, 2017, I went to test drive those two 2017 Mustangs. Um, so I first test drove the 2017 Ruby Red Mustang GT Premium. And let's just say I knew that she was the one, and that um, I would be purchasing her or financing her. Yeah, so I fell in love with her instantly, and I didn't even test drive the EcoBoost. No need to test drive the EcoBoost. I already knew I wanted the V8 at that point. Um, so I did the paperwork on Martin Luther King Day, but it didn't get finalized until um, January 17th, 2017. Since the banks were closed on Martin Luther King Day, it didn't get finalized until the next day. Um, so I spent a year enjoying Ruby as is before I got bitten by the mod bug. So the first mod I did uh, with Ruby was a C&L Racing cold air intake and a tune by Bamba. Then I started down the suspension rabbit hole, followed by a cackback exhaust, then long tube catted headers, and then the Voodoo manifold um, with the GT350 throttle body, and Ford 47-pound fuel injectors. I finally got tuned by Lund Racing for 93 and E85 because the 93 Bama tune did not feel right. Um, they couldn't figure out how to get the GT350 throttle body to work correctly. Um, So then I also started with, after that, I started changing the appearance of Ruby. Um, so I bought SVE satin bronze 10 by 10 wheels with Nitto tires. It's uh, so it's a square setup. So I had a square setup. Um, I changed the grill. I replaced the silver 50 badges with a pair of black ones. Uh, I replaced a I replaced the deck lid with the plain black with the plain 2018 deck lid. Um, I replaced the back lights and the spoiler. So I replaced the back lights with a Ford GT style lights. I know a lot of people didn't like them, and I also got teased about having Ferrari looking tail lights. But honestly, if you look at the Ford GT tail lights, they were the same as the ones that I put on. Yes, they're Euro lights, but they were definitely different from Ferrari. It did kind of bother me, but I stand by that look of having the Ford GT taillights. Um, plus, with those taillights and the spoiler, it gave Ruby a fighter jet look that I wanted. I wanted that fighter jet look. So, the Ford GT taillights, they kind of look like, thrusters. So I was kind of going for a fighter jet look. Um, I also replaced the reverse lamp. That was it was definitely fun to install. Um, I was lucky to have a lift, but was still a pain to install because uh, what it's just the screws. You definitely need a long extension, and it's like wobbly. But once you get it in, uh, once you get the one that you're replacing and putting the new one in, it's kind of easier. Um, and then I also had fun wiring the new reverse lamps. So I had to crawl into the trunk, and I'm I'm a big guy. I'm fluffy, um, so I'm kind of fluffy. So that was fun. Um, I also had to learn how to look at the diagram to connect to the right wires for the for to the tail light wire harness. So I'm not an expert in wiring, but I got it to work. Um, I'm sure I didn't mention all of the modifications that I have done. Basically, too many to list them all. Um, so I had many good memories and many good frustration moments with Ruby. So here's a list of a few frustration moments that I had. So I remember, so when I first got the Voodoo manifold on, um, so I went to my mechanic, and he installed the Voodoo manifold, the the 47-pound injectors, and I can't remember. I might have already had the GT350 um, throttle body, but he still had to connect it back to the manifold. So I had that done, and when I got it back, it wasn't running right. It was definitely misfiring, and um, yeah, it was jerky and everything. So um, I went back to him, and he had to like, I think he had some vacuum lines not connected to the right places. And luckily, when I did bring it back, there was a GT350 there, so he had a reference to go by. Um, so the second frustration moment I had um, when my friend was helping me change the oil. So usually when I go change the oil, I'll go up to Pennsylvania because there's a do-it-yourself garage up there. Um, but he didn't have any appointments, and my friend's willing to change the oil in our driveway. So I drove it up on my ramps, and I'm not skinny enough to go under, or I could have done it myself. He's skinny. He went under, and instead of going lefty-loosey on the oil plug or screw or bolt, he went righty-tighty to loosen up the bolt. So my so oil wouldn't stay um, in the oil reservoir. So I had to get that towed to my mechanic so he can fix it. So I mean, he was upset with himself. So I tried not. I was like, "It's okay, Josh. We'll get it fixed." I took a couple. I will admit, I took a couple deep breaths, but I stayed calm because I knew he was already upset with himself. There was no point of yelling. I mean, he's a friend. He made a mistake. So, uh, so he offered to pay for it and everything. Uh, so I had to get a tow truck, and this is funny. So, the first tow truck, I had to get two tow truck. The first one, he's like, "Oh no, I can't take your car because it's too low." And the guy didn't even have. You would think they would have like some some wood so that way you, to help drive it up on the thing. So he's like, "Nope, can't take it," and drives off. So I had to get my insurance to send me another one, and the guy's like, "Oh yeah, I could get it. I tow Lamborghinis and everything. We'll get it on there." And so I followed him on there. I drove it. I drove it up the bed, and my friend and I, we followed it to to the mechanic, um, and we dropped off the car. We told the mechanic about it and what was going on, and so yeah, got it fixed. What was frustrating was I wanted to go on a little road trip because I like going to Luray Caverns because there's like two mountains, like right between Luray Caverns, and the first one that I go through is it connects to the Shenandoah Valley Road. So I like going around that road and then going to the other mountain, the second one, going around that road, and which takes you to New Market, Virginia, get back on 81, and then head back home. So I wanted to do that. I wanted to, but that's the frustrating part because I wanted to go for a drive, but I also needed an oil change. Um, all right. So let's go with, I'm going to do some good memories. So my first good memory of Ruby, besides the day that I bought her or financed her, was driving to the American Muscle Show in 2017 um, at Maple Grove, Pennsylvania. So I found some back roads, and my friend Josh was following me, and at the time he traded in um, original Ruby for a shadow black uh, Mustang EcoBoost Premium. So he's following me. We get on this road. We're going up this hill, and I feel my car um, leave the ground. And then as I get back on the ground, I look in my rear view mirror and I see my friend going over the hill. Um, and then it was an awesome experience. I love driving. And then I found out that I like windy roads, driving on windy roads. Let's see. Second memory was with Ruby was going to the Ford National, I think in 2018 in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. Um, my friend and I drove up there after work, and then we went. The next day we drove. The next day we went to CJ Pony Parts for the Ford National Cruise before going to the show. The cruise took us through some back roads, uh, the highway, and around a mountain. And then at the Ford National, there was a lot of Mustangs, classic Fords like 34 Fords and Thunderbirds. There was also vendors, Shelby America, Roush, Celine, and Ford had booths. Some of the There was also aftermarket vendors like JLT, Cervini, UPR, and there was and so many more at Ford National. Uh, Ford National show was a great weekend. Um, my third memory of Ruby is all the times I went to Tell the Dragon. In the past 4 years, I've went to the Tail of the Dragon 3 times with Ruby. Um, one time with my 2020 Mustang EcoBoost. Let's see. So my last trip was before I sold her. It was in September of 2021. It's it's fun to reflect back on each trip because each trip um, you can see the evolution of Ruby. Um, so I think the first trip she was still on stock wheels. Um, I don't think I've done anything with the suspension. I did do like an exhaust. Um, So, she had the catback exhaust, C&L racer, cold air intake, and a Bama tune. And then, like, my second trip at Tell the Dragon, so I had the suspension mod, I had long tube headers on, new wheels and tires. Um, let's see. I think that was, yeah, and that trip, I also explored a little bit more of that area. Um, I drove on Chirahalla Skyway and found a great restaurant on the Tennessee side. Um, they they had this chicken breast that was really good, and then fried orchas. I think I probably mispronounce it. And then my friend found some other guys with Mustangs, a Camaro, and a Charger, and we hanged out with them. And my third trip to Tell the Dragon was Labor Day weekend 2021. This trip was something that I really needed. I was in deep depression due to my financial situation. Um, the day before my friend and I left to go down to Tail the Dragon, I was having panic attacks due to having suicidal thoughts. I was basically having a mental breakdown, and so the thought of driving down to Tail the Dragon gave me hope. You know how some people like to go to the beach to escape and relax? Well, I like, uh, well, that's how I feel with mountains, driving around windy mountain roads. Um, I'm at peace. I feel happy. Uh, you know, I feel relaxed. Um, so I know my third trip with Ruby um, is kind of sad because it's my last ride. Driving her around the mountain, listening to her angry exhaust notes calmed me. I had a smile on my face the whole time. I also got to see the aftermath of this. So this blue hatchback Honda Civic, I think he wrecked on Tail of the Dragon. And so he wrecked on Tail of the Dragon. His front wheel was bent inside the fender. Um, and he was luckily he was next to the mountainside because the other side had a cliff. Um, Overall, third trip to Tell the Dragon was sad and a good memory. There are more good memories with Ruby, like the time I remote started. Uh, I remote started her in front of my dad on Thanksgiving, and he basically jumped out of his skin because how loud it was. That I loved that. That was awesome. There's also the times that I went to track attack events at Dominion Raceway. So lots of good memories. And those were just to name a few. So on October 6th, 2021, I said goodbye to Ruby when Vroom came to pick her up. Uh, so this video is to help me move on and to give you an update. So before I end this video, I just want to say I'm working on my mental health, and I'm having a more positive outlook on life. And then for my channel, my goal is to at least post one video a week. So I may not have Ruby anymore, but I still have my 2022 Velocity Blue EcoBoost Mustang, which I named EcoBlue. So thank you for watching. Um, and whoever is the new owner of Ruby, please take good care of her and enjoy. Thank you. I'll see you in the next one.